My name's Timur Langford, and this is my CAS project presentation on my CAS project, Taking It to the Streets. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, my CAS project took place in Portsmouth, Ohio. Much of my family lives there, so we decided that, given my connections there, I would be able to organize this project with relative ease. What we thought relative ease, but it turned out organizing a project was a lot more difficult than I expected. But our project was to occur on Thanksgiving Day. We would prepare meals for the homeless people in the area, as well as collect clothing and give out waters and blankets and other things like that. So, the first part was making the meals. Our idea was to make pre made Thanksgiving dinners for the homeless communities in the area. So, we did this at the 14th Street Center. It's in Portsmouth, Ohio. It's a lovely location, very good kitchen, and lots of wonderful members of my family working there. So we were able to really get things into gear and start cooking loads of food so we could create these pre made Thanksgiving dinners. We had things like turkey, mashed potatoes, macaroni, greens, and of course, cranberry sauce. So our plan was to have half of the meals at the recreational center. We would flag people if we saw them or invite people to come in to the recreational center and eat their meals there or take their meals elsewhere, as well as collect clothing, which I'll talk about later. But the other part is that we would take these meals, well, on wheels, so to speak. We would load up a few of the vehicles that we had on hand and deliver these pre made Thanksgiving dinners to the homeless communities in our area, as well as deliver water bottles and other things that we had on hand. It was great big effort from the whole community, and lots of people showed up to help. Just hearing about it, saw it on the Facebook or something like that, they all just came by and decided to help out, and it was very wonderful. So the other aspect of it was the clothing. So before the event, we set out on the Facebook as well as other media asking if anyone had any clothing that they were willing to donate to the homeless and at risk people in the area. So we told them to bring it in a plastic bag, just leave it there, and we will sort it out for you. So as it turns out, way more people than we expected donated clothing. We were thinking of it as more of a side part of the project, but there was a amazing surplus of clothing donated, and it was just a real show of this community being so supportive of its homeless. It was amazing. We had so much clothing to sort through. Took multiple hours of hard work, teams of, I don't know, 7 to 8 people at a time. People got tired, would move over to the food making as well as food sorting, and then people would go to the clothing and work vice versa. It was a very big effort from about 30 to 40 people. So, as it turns out, there was such a surplus of clothing that we had to, at the end of the day, when all things were said and done, we had to donate a large portion of the clothing to the Salvation Army because we just had about 3 to 4 large bags of clothing that just weren't going to go anywhere. So it turns out that we had like an amazing surplus of clothing, so we decided to donate it to the local Salvation Army. So, yeah. So let's move on to my learning outcomes. My first learning outcome was learning outcome number 1: identify own strengths and develop areas for growth. So, I guess I identified my strengths as in I found out that I am relatively okay at keeping my cool when things go awry, one would say, and developing areas for growth. I found that perhaps I could have, been a bit more prepared for the unknown events, but we, as a group, handled it very well. And then learning outcome number 2, demonstrate that challenges have been undertaken in developing new skills in the process. So I could say that One of the biggest skills that I developed in this process was leadership, organizing this event and taking control of the situation, making sure everything went smoothly day of was very important. I had to keep a level head while being a leader. Thankfully, I had many family members to lean on, delegate different tasks to, and I guess those were some of the challenges I faced were the surplus of clothing, as well as things like, oh, we forgot to get water bottles, so we had to make a quick run to the local Walmart, I believe, to get as many water bottles as we needed to hand out with the meals. And then learning outcome number 5 demonstrate the skills and recognize the benefits of working collaboratively. Well, I can tell you certainly that I would not have been able to do this without the love and support of my family as well as the local community. So many people decided to just show up and help. It was amazing. I would not have been able to do it without specifically Maxine. She runs the 14th Street Center, the location. My grandmother, uh, Jeanette Langford, as well as just there are too many people to name, but those were the two who I begun planning this 3 months in advance. It was an amazing time. We were talking about what we would do, and it was amazing. And I just know I could not have been able to do this without the loving and amazing outpour of support from the community and family. So I think that is it. I hope you enjoyed my CAS presentation and have a good day.